It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
My name is Tyrone Lowe. The show is called The Legends. I want to thank everybody all over the world that actually subscribes to my show and actually watch it, man. It means a lot to me. And the feedback that you guys give me, it means a lot to me. In the House of the Legends, I've known this guy from like over 10 years. In fact, when I was in Charlotte, North Carolina, I was doing Blog Talk Radio at the time. And John, you came down to the basement one time. I forgot how I met him. I think we was working together, I believe. And he was an author. So, but before we even get into all that, let's bring him to the stage. John Fulmore. What's up, John?
What's going on?
I'm telling him a little bit of story of how we met. John was an author, and he came out to my basement, and we did a Blog Talk Radio thing about his book.
Yes.
And evidently, man, we've been friends for years, and we always got in contact. But listen, man, I'm so glad to have you on my show, man. I'm kind of excited now.
Absolutely.
So, John, in the beginning, let's take it back, man. How did you actually get into writing?
I've been writing pretty much since I was a little boy, but my father was also an author. My father actually has 2 poems published in the National Library of Poetry.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes,
Okay.
so he's an accomplished author as well, so I kind of followed in his footsteps.
Oh, right. All right. So how did that actually inspire you, though? I mean, what gave you that source of energy to say, well, listen, I want to follow into his footsteps and I want to be a writer as well?
Well, one of the things that was so incredible to me was he didn't start writing, or he didn't start publishing his writing until he was mid-60s. It wasn't most people, they start in their 20s and 30s. It was after he had a pretty horrific accident in trucking, and he wrote about the accident and his life. And I was so inspired by that, to see him come out of that pain and that tragedy and turn it into something beautiful. So that's what inspired me.
I remember when you first came to the basement and you brought this book down with you.
Yes.
And we talked about it.
Yes.
And it was kind of like I was just getting into actually broadcasting at the time,
Right.
And we talked about it. So tell the viewers a little bit about that book in particular.
Well, that book was titled Broken Dreams, Broken Hearted, Breaking Chains. It's a full circle story, if you will, about my own life. Growing up in and around, a pretty rough area. A lot of drug dealing, a lot of alcoholism, a lot of partying and things of that sort. And coming out of that life, and then at some point in my life, God came rushing in when I hit my 35th birthday. So it's a full circle story of where I came from, all the tribulations I went through, watching some of my friends get murdered, all those things.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, and then coming out of that and being able to write about it and basically saying, look what God brought me from.
Okay. And that's more like a testimonial type of situation going on, because we all go through things, and like me, for instance, I've had a lot of friends that indulged in drugs and things of that nature.
Yes.
They're not here anymore, John.
Right.
And for me to actually look at it for what it is, man, and for me as being still in existence, man, right. I have to give him praise every day.
Absolutely. Me too.
We met. We was actually working together. I mean, because when I was working in Charlotte, North Carolina, I did little odds and ends with the temp agencies and things of that nature, man. And I met John, and we just clicked,
Absolutely.
And we've been friends for years.
Absolutely.
And I've been trying to get John to come down to New York for like how long? Almost 8 years, man.
It's been a minute. I'm coming.
Yeah.
I promise you, I'm coming.
Okay, I'm gonna get you in the TV studio, man, so we can do something really, really live.
Absolutely.
But how has life been since then, man? As far as you writing the book, and what kind of feedback did you get from the book?
The original book, it did very well in the stores. I had it on Amazon. I sold some of my own. I sold it in bookstores, and the biggest thing was having people that I've never met in my life from other states, 2,000-3,000 miles away, contacting me, telling me how the book changed their lives.
Okay.
The 3-part book, Broken Dreams, Broken Hearted, Broken Chains. The Broken Dreams part was about my childhood and all the things that I wanted to accomplish and thinking they would never happen because
Mm-hmm.
it's, drugs everywhere and things like that, thinking it was never happen.
Right.
Then the broken hearted part comes with not so much broken hearted, what we think of as human beings, but with God breaking my heart and rebuilding it. And
Right.
then that part comes with the breaking chains, all those things that used to have me bound up. I was able to set myself free from them. So it's a 3-part book.
Okay.
Yes.
And through those speculations in all 3 of them, can you sum that up in one word?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then there's God. That's but God is the only thing I can say. 2 words, but God.
Okay.
Everything that I went through, but God.
We all, like we said, we all go through things, man, and it's just a blessing that we're able to actually go through,
Right. Absolutely.
and things of that nature, man. So, um, as far as the book is concerned and things of that nature, did you actually want to piggyback on some added additions to it that, of some of your life experiences as well?
Well, the current book that I've just written that is about to be coming to publishing is sort of a piggyback off of that, but it's transformed way into something else. It's loosely based on my own life, but it talks about the communication and the relationship between a man and his wife. It's a Black superhero novel. It's a trilogy, 3-part Black superhero novel. The first book comes into play with the hero, if you will, thinking he's just an everyday one-of-the-mill type of guy, and finding that he has this superpower. I won't go a lot into detail, but basically he's fighting evil in the world. And the book is called A Tale of Two Rings.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like superheroes, they get their powers from another planet or their suits or what have you. But this particular hero gets his power from the relationship and the love between he and his wife.
Okay.
A Tale of Two Rings, his power actually comes from his wedding ring.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes. So I wanna kind of transform the way we as a society think about love.
Okay.
I think that a man should be his wife's superhero and she his heroine.
Right.
It transformed him fighting evil. His family kind of finding out about his power. Somewhere towards the end of the first book, his wife discovers that she has power as well.
Right.
And then it transformed into the second and the third book where they begin to fight evil and fight crime together.
Okay. We had talked about, for a long time about certain things, and then I see that you had married up and got married and
Yes,
things
yes,
of that nature. And,
yes, yes.
I seen a difference in you as far
Absolutely,
as, because behind every man is a strong woman in a
absolutely,
sense,
absolutely,
and she
absolutely.
looks like she's very inspiring to you.
She
So let's
is.
talk about that, how a woman actually comes in play to a man's life and
Mm,
actually hypes up his characteristics to the point where he's so ultimately happy and
yes,
so inspired and so encouraged and
yes.
things of that nature. Talk about that, John.
I will start with this. The thing that most people don't know, except those who are very close to me and her, is our grandmothers were actually next door neighbors. Her grandmother lived right in front of my grandmother, and her grandmother raised her. So I've
Okay.
known her family most of my life.
Hmm.
But fast forward in the going through the transition, my mother's transition. I lost my mother, 2.5 years ago,
Right.
and that was where my wife and I, she began to commingle. She came into the picture and helped me out through a trial. Got to have a relationship with my mom, but helped me through one of the toughest times in my life, and that's what made us probably closer than we normally would have, and expedited the whole process because
Right,
she was
right.
there through the biggest part of my pain, and she was there for me.
You know, the biggest thing is that having a significant other that really understands
Absolutely.
and that's
Absolutely.
very receptive to what you're actually, the energy that you're actually giving to them, man. And that's very special, you know.
Yeah,
That's what you call a real relationship. You know, it's hard
absolutely.
to find that.
Right.
And I believe that you got to go through a few things in life in order
Yeah,
to actually initiate that. You know
absolutely.
what I'm saying? And then after that, man, it's like total happiness and things of that
Yes.
nature.
Yes.
You know, life is so funny at times, man, because you could be really not on the peak of being really happy, then 24 hours later it
That's
just
right.
transformed into something that's really surreal, you
Yes.
know, and things of that. So let's get back to the book, man. You know, I've read the book because I still got your book,
Absolutely.
and you gave me an autographed copy
Yes.
of it,
Yes.
and it talked about, you know, salvation. It talked about sacrifices and things like that, and the most thing that I got out of the book was change, you
Absolutely.
know, um, mindset, things
Yeah.
of that nature, because um, from what you actually experienced and things of that nature, God gave you the strength and the mindset to actually transform yourself into something that to get away from the whole process. Can you explain that?
Absolutely. The transformation. At some point, I kept saying, why not me? I would see it was five of us who were inseparable since kindergarten, and there's only two of us left. Two of them were gone within 2 weeks of each other before I was 20 years old. Um, so seeing that and seeing guys that I've been knowing since I was, 3 and 4 and 5 years old, and to have them no longer in my life, I said something's got to change. Um, Everybody that came from the little city that I'm from, it was the same story, so much tragedy, and I said something's got to change. I got to do something different. I can't end up the same way. I can't have the same ending.
You know, transformation in life, I think is something very special, man,
Yeah,
because everybody doesn't get that.
that's right.
Everybody doesn't. I think that God picks and chooses those who actually
Yes,
get to that point of their life and things of that nature. But the thing behind that is you can't be selfish about it, because at that point it's not all about you, you know. And when you get to the point where you get selfish about it and you develop a selfish spirit, you get bonded and you don't know where to channel yourself and
mm,
things of that nature. Because once he gives you that light, you're supposed to shine it with other people as well, you know, and don't forget who you are and things of that nature. But what we're going to do is we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back with John Fulmore.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive. If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
We're back with John Fulmore in the house. That's my boy, y'all. Y'all got to know it, man. But we're gonna take this into a whole different level, because John is just not an author. He's also a physical trainer. So let's talk about that, John, because that's a very important hat. And when I seen you online, man, you know, talking about it and actually demonstrating certain things about your being a physical trainer and things of that nature, man, I was like, wow. Okay,
yes,
I was very inspired by that, because I had a problem, you know, getting the tummy down. And then I happened to talk to John one time, and he told me a secret ingredients that actually would help you do it, and I did it, and went down for a while. But after a while, I got lazy, and it popped right back up again. But hey, at least I'm honest about it. So, John, let's talk about you being a physical trainer and what inspired you to be that, and when did you actually start being a physical trainer?
being the youngest of six kids, three sisters and two brothers. Particularly with my brothers, I remember my oldest brother got his first weightlifting set when he was probably 15, so I was probably about 9 or 10, and we started working out in the backyard. And He went on to the Marine Corps. He started doing bodybuilding contests. As I went into the military, I started doing the same thing. Did some natural contests, California, Las Vegas, and different places, started winning some titles. And I said, you know what, I'm going to take this thing a step further because I love the transformation and the new health in my life. So I wanted to give a shot to other people to be able to transform their lives as well. And when I got about 21, I started out doing it, and I was a natural for it. You know, I love working with people. I love changing people's lives. And here I am about 33 years later.
You know, that's cool, man, because I think for a person to transform their body into what they really want to, they can't just do it alone. They have to be inspired by somebody and truly take directions. You know what I'm saying? I remember when I was in the gym one time and I was pressing, and just to show you how the mindset and how energy actually gets together. It's like I was pressing and he was saying, no, one more, one more, one more. And I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Tell about how you train and how you actually encourage people to actually train. And I mean, how do you train them? I put it like that, just to sum it up.
Well, I will say that one of the things I always say to people that I'm training in anybody, it's more than fitness for me. It's about changing the person from the inside out. I'm more about making and building a better person than I am about just changing somebody to have a better physical body. I want the person to be better when I'm done.
Let's talk about diet and things of that nature, because after I found out that I was eating the wrong things, I got guilty about it. And the most profound thing that actually establishes guilt is when you think nobody's actually watching you. And then you're going to say to yourself the next day, oh man, I'm going to change this. I ain't going to do it today. You know what I mean? But tell the viewers what's good for you and what's not really good for you as far as diet is concerned, because that plays a very important part as far as training.
Yes.
So tell the viewers about that.
Diet is probably 80% of it. It's like having a Ferrari or a Lamborghini and putting regular gas in it. That type of machine requires something different to perform at its highest. So the body's the same way. You can work out and be able to bench press 300-400 pounds and squat, but if you can't walk up a flight of stairs, then what's the point? So you want to be equally as fit on the inside as you are on the outside. It's not just about building bigger muscles. It's about being able to live a healthier lifestyle when you hit your 50s and you hit your 60s and you hit your 70s. We look at some of the people around us today, that are in their 30s that, are not in the same physical condition because our lifestyles have changed. A lot of things, internet, a lot of things computer related. So a lot of people, particularly kids, don't get to exercise like we did, you and I, when we were growing up. So I try to incorporate that in everybody's life. You don't have to be a fitness fanatic. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. You don't have to be a physique contestant. You just want to be able to live a better lifestyle. You want to be able to eat better. So that's what I'm about. Not just working on the outside, but working on the inside as well, building a more confident person.
Okay. Let's talk about sugar, because sugar seems to be something that's it just blows the whole thing away, and things of that nature. What's your kick on sugar, man, as far as your diet is concerned?
Everything in mediation in small amounts. Most things you can eat if you don't overconsume, but you can have sweets and have natural sugars and eat healthier, unless you're a diabetic or something like that, then you have to watch that as well. But you have to be more concerned about eating fat-free foods that are low in carbs. There's a lot of popular things, carb-free diets and things of that sort. Everything doesn't work for everybody, so you have to find something that works for your particular body type, how active you are. So I tend to eat higher in carbs. That doesn't work for everybody, but I still have a really fast metabolism, so I tend to eat a lot of carbs, high in protein as well. But I eat smaller meals. I don't eat big meals. I might eat 5 to 6 times a day, every 3 to 4 hours, and I don't eat after 8 o'clock. After 8 o'clock, your metabolism slows down dramatically, and that's where most of the weight gain comes. Eating late
So
at night.
you have to actually eat things in portions.
Yes,
In a
absolutely.
sense.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, this question is very important, man, to the viewers, man, because there's a lot of upcoming artists and there's
Yes.
a lot of people that's doing training and things of that nature and other recreational things in their lives, man. You know, being an author, a trainer, and things of that nature, what would you actually say to the person that's really want to start this, and what can you say to them?
Don't take no for an answer. And it's not always a no from someone else. More often than not, it's a no from our own selves. Sometimes we're telling, well, people from where I'm from don't make it. They don't do something like that. Well, you know, no one in my family's ever done this. When no one from my demographic is able to achieve that, you can do anything you set your mind to, but you have to plan and you have to follow through. And once you set your mind to it and say nothing's going to stop me, then that's the result. It's going to be nothing's going to stop you.
You know, I believe that God plays a very important part of it too, man, because you know, I've been through some transformations in my life and I've battled a few things as well. And I believe that my higher power, man, you know, which I really claim as God, Jesus Christ, has actually transformed me into a person with purpose.
Yes, yes, yes.
You understand what I'm saying? And at that point right now, I feel good to know that I am free from all
Yes,
that.
yes.
I'm able to project myself in a manner and don't have a I would say that I'm not guilty today.
Right.
You know, and it's very good that you inspire them as far as what you do as far as your book is concerned and training them and things of that nature. And you're actually giving a part of you, you know, things of that nature. How does it feel to give a part of you to someone and they succeed, John?
Well, I want to be about what I talk about. I just don't want to be one of those people who talk about, oh, this is what you can do to become a better man or a better person. And meanwhile, I'm outside, I'm out there doing something completely different. I want to practice what I preach. I'm imperfect. I'm a human being, but I want to practice what I preach. I just don't want to tell somebody something and I'm doing something completely different. I want to practice what I preach. And when they see me, they say, oh yeah, you know, let me because I want to have that effect on people's lives that when they see me, they're motivated to do better because I didn't come from a lot as well, but here I am.
Okay. Now, John has a new book out, and hasn't really been published yet, and things of that nature. So, yeah, give him a preview, man. Give him the title and things of, you know, give him a little scenario about it. You know,
Yes. It's a tale of two rings, and it's based on the love between a man and his wife. And unlike most superheroes, where they get their powers from other planets or suits or things or accidents in a lab, their power comes from their immense and amazing love and relationship with Christ. I want to share something my wife had made. It was a replica of me and her as superheroes. And so that's something that inspired me, and I pray that it inspires others as well. But yeah, the book is part one. It talks about, like I said, it's loosely based on my own life, but just a normal man who's a hardworking man who has his own business, who has a loving and relationship with not only his wife but God as well, and how evil and things of the world start to attack him, and how he begins to learn that God has given him this power that has traveled through generations in his family. He's just now finding out about it. He finds a sword. He's going through his old outhouse or shed, so to speak, and finds a sword. And as he picks up the sword becomes one with his hand, and he feels the shaking and the power from the sword, and realizes that the sword was him. And as he begins to study about it, he finds out that it was handed down for him, and it was left there for him to find. But he had this immense power, and he begins to fight evil, and evil begins to single him out because it feels his power. Every time he comes in the presence of evil, his wedding ring starts to glow. Later on in the first book, as his wife is discovering her power as well, when he is in danger, her wedding ring starts to glow. And towards the end of my first book, she begins to find her power as well. In the second book, they begin to fight evil together, and the third book as well. So it's an amazing story of love, and the whole book, the whole trilogy is based on the love and the relationship between them and God.
Okay. And John, tell the viewers, where can they actually get your books?
The book will be on Amazon. It will be on Kindle. It will be in bookstores, Books A Million, Barnes and Nobles, and others.
And John, as far as my viewers want to contact you, can you give them your email address and preferably a number they can reach you? Or if you don't want to give a number, just give me your email address.
Yes.
And things of that nature where they can actually contact you for more information, rather it's about the book or rather about you being a trainer.
Yes. Any questions about the book or anything? It's J Fulmore. That's JFULMORE. J Fulmore 22 at yahoo.com. If you want to contact me about personal training, you can look me up on social media on Facebook at Body by Losh, Advanced Personal Training Kickboxing Instructor.
John, I want to thank you a lot, man, for being on the show, sharing your strength, hope, and experience about certain things in life and talking about your books and being a trainer and things of that nature, man. And I'm gonna let you know, man, you always have an extended invitation to be on my show, but you got to come to New York, man. You got to come to New York. I'm still putting you out there, man.
You know what I'm saying? I will be there.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for actually, coming into the show and things of that nature, and listening to John Fulmore about his book and his training and things of that nature. And I'm gonna let you guys know that change ain't hard. It's just something different in life, man. And if you read his book, it would actually explain that to you in a sense and speculate it, because it's a lot of inspiration. So this has been another T-Lo video production, y'all. And you guys stay tuned for another episode.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.